it's just Martine, and it's the last week of Chaos-tober. Ba ba ba! Chaos-tober has been a month where I just read books from the Dollar Tree. It's my friend Danielle's fault. We all get that by now. At least this week, I can read more than one book at a time. Not that I'm going to right now, because I'm actually running late for Zumba, so I'm going to go do that, and hopefully I'll be back later with some information about what I'm reading, how it's going, how's life, etc. It's Wednesday afternoon, and this week has been a slow reading week. I've just been really busy because I'm going out of town this weekend, so I was doing everything else except reading. And so this is the main book I'm working on right now, The Cottage in the Woods. I did not come here to update you because I'm finished it, because I'm not, but I did finish an audiobook. You'll recall that one of my exceptions for Chaos-tober is if it's an audiobook I'm listening to while falling asleep. And so since October 6th, I have been listening to The Floating Feldmans, and I finally finished it last night. I'm giving it 3 stars. It was like a fun time, you know? It's about this family, the Feldmans, and they go on a cruise to celebrate the matriarch's 80th birthday. It's just a whole mess of family time. So I'm happy to report that I finished that, and at least I am making progress in this. I'm not exactly halfway through. I'm 48% of the way through, but my goal tonight is to read more of it. I was about to say to finish it, but like, I'm not sure that's gonna happen. I'm just gonna promise what I can actually promise, which is that I'll read some of it. Happy Monday. We have a lot to talk about. So basically, last week was crazy. I was barely getting any reading done because I was just preparing for my trip over the weekend, and I went on that trip and it was great. I spent some time with both Harris and my parents. I did things like go to Disney Springs and have a delicious frozen lemonade and look at things that said Disney Springs or were chocolate. And we also ran into the Diwali Dance Fest, which was pretty cool. For the rest of my trip, I did things including but not limited to eating food and looking at swans. And now I am back, and I have finally finished The Cottage in the Woods. It is not that I disliked this book. Like, it's not an objectively bad book, but I never wanted to pick this up. And because I had really worked on my mindset for my last week's reading and was like one book at a time, I'm not in the middle of as many books as I normally would be. I'm giving this book 3.5 stars. It's a retelling of Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but it feels like Jane Eyre. All the other reviews agree with me. Here's my main issue with this book, aside from the fact that I never wanted to pick it up. It is classified as a middle grade book. In the author's note, it says that this is her first book for young readers, and we can tell. On the back, it says for ages 10 and up. The content of this, perfectly fine children's content. The writing for this, unacceptable to market it for children. I felt like I was studying for the GRE while reading this book. Here are some words that 10-year-olds don't know that were included in this book. This is just a small sampling. It was also written in kind of like an old-timey way, so sometimes it wasn't even the words that were heard, it was the sentence structures. But again, here are some words that 10-year-olds don't know. Diffident, sepulchral, soporific, assiduously, concatenation. These words were actually in this book, and so many more. And it made me so mad. This is not written for children. So that's my review of that. Luckily, even though that slowed me way down, I also finished another book that I've been working on and off again all month. For example, I took a break from it when I was doing my one book at a time challenge, and that was What the Dead Know by Barbara Butcher. Barbara Butcher worked as a medico-legal investigator in New York City for 2 decades, and so this book is all about her experiences with that, and it relays her experiences with crimes all the way from like one-on-one crimes to what it was like looking for victims during 9/11. It's also part memoir, so we get her journey about how she kind of fell into this job and then what happened later with like politics and all these things, and then how her mental health was affected by that. But I think the most interesting part of this book revolved around what she did as a medical legal investigator. I'm giving this 3.5 stars. I did have trouble getting into it at some points, and again, I enjoyed some sections more than others, but overall I thought it was really fascinating. I'd never heard about this job before. Like, I think we all know what a medical examiner is, but I'd never heard of medical legal investigators. And this was also the nonfiction pick for the Magic Treehouse read along for this month, so glad to get that out of the way, which is why it's not a Dollar Tree book that I actually read, because it's for a book club, so it doesn't count. I don't expect to finish any other books today or tomorrow, and that's going to mark the end of this month. So I think I'm just going to wrap up this vlog here and briefly reflect on Chaostober as a whole. There were some really good things about it. For example, it really helped me with my number of unread books in my room, and I was able to do fun challenges like my buy and read challenge. On the other hand, I do think it slowed my reading way down in general. I read significantly less hours than I usually do. You'll see that in my stats for the month in a couple videos, and that's because I was reading physical books. Like, I was only reading physical books this month, except for my exceptions, but like I was just reading physical books all the time for this. That's not normal for me. It meant that I had to carry books around places, and so oftentimes I'd be like, I'm just not gonna bring a book. It also, like, the act of taking out a physical book, opening it and reading it, there's more friction there than just pulling out my phone and scrolling reading. So I spent a lot of time scrolling on my phone doing other things, which I hated and was terrible for me. But overall, I had like a really fun month of reading because books from the Dollar Tree are fun. I would also like to say that by the end of this month, as my choices got less and less as to what I had in my room, I wanted to read less and less because I didn't have like the full spectrum of vibes that I usually am able to pick from. So I'm super excited in November to return to reading everything all at once, even though I have too many things I want to read in November. But if you like this video and Chaostober in general, go ahead and give this a big thumbs up and comment down below what was your favorite part of watching me get through Chaostober this year, and subscribe for more reading, writing, and college lifestyle content. And until next time, bye humans, bye!